William Wordsworth was born a Lakelander in the town of Cockermouth on the banks of the rivers Cocker and Derwent in 1770. A year later, his sister Dorothy was born. Throughout their lifetime, they would become devoted to one another. Indeed, even after their marriage, Dorothy was to live with them in their various houses. He was to become one of the most sublime and simplest of the English poets. The first few years of their lives were spent at the family home in Cockermouth. From there they moved to Hawkshead. William, Dorothy and their brother lived for 8 years at Anne Tyson's cottage. During this time, William attended the local grammar school. In the next 12 years, the Wordsworths were to have many homes. In 1795, they moved to Racedown Lodge in Somerset. They spent 2 years there. Then they went to Alfoxden Lodge in the Dorset Hills to be near their dear friend Coleridge. During those 12 years, William spent 2 years in France, actively supporting the revolution. On his return to England, he and his sister took up a nomadic lifestyle, spending time with friends throughout England. Finally, William and Dorothy came here to Grasmere, in the heart of the English lakes. The year was 1799 and the place Dove Cottage. Dove Cottage was originally an inn called the Dove and Olive Branch. The Wordsworth rented it for the annual sum of £8. The surrounding hills and the crags and the tranquillity helped William immensely. He was the first great poet to revive the Romantic school of poetry. He mingled with such great men as Keats, Sir Walter Scott and Byron, and had a lifelong friendship with Coleridge, remembered for his poem The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. During the years at Dove Cottage, he courted and married Mary Hutchinson of Penrith. Although in France he had had an affair with Annette Vallon, resulting in a daughter Caroline, this did not fortunately interfere with his marriage. The wedding took place at Brompton in Yorkshire in October 1802, and they set up home in Dove Cottage. William and Mary had 5 children: John, Dora, Thomas, Catherine and William, 3 of whom were born at Dove Cottage. It was here, on the banks of the Ullswater, that William and Dorothy walked among the daffodils. It was this that gave him the inspiration for what now became his most famous poem, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. It was written in Dove Cottage in about 1804. The parsonage was to become their next home, but it was not to be a happy time here. For it was here, in 1812, Thomas and Catherine died. Life became intolerable living so close to the little graves. After 13 years in Grasmere, William, Mary and Dorothy and the family moved to the grand surroundings of Rydal Mount. William was very conscious of his duty to his friends and his neighbours while in Grasmere. Indeed, even the little cottage behind has a story to tell, although it be a sad one. In March 1808, tragedy struck. While Wordsworth was away on a walking tour, George and Sarah Green, who lived here, were struck down by a blizzard. 6 children were orphaned. On hearing this, Wordsworth took in one of the small girls and made efforts to raise money for the remaining 5. This was just one of the many ways he helped and cared for his fellow neighbours. The house is 2 miles from Grasmere, and a steep lane leads up to it from the road. From its windows and gardens, William could overlook the Vale of Ambleside, the head of Windermere, and across Rydal to Silver Howe, all places he loved so dearly. It was while living at Rydal, William was appointed distributor of stamps in the county of Westmoreland. This appointment freed him from all financial worries and enabled him to live at Rydal Mount in modest comfort. It was also while living at Rydal that Wordsworth became the Poet Laureate. The year was 1813. Wordsworth was instrumental in choosing the site for Rydal Church, with help and money from Lady Fleming. He purchased Rashfield, a 1.5 acre site adjoining the church. It became an extension of the gardens at Rydal Mount. Wordsworth eventually gave Rashfield to his daughter Dora, and to this day it is known as Dora's Field, and is renowned for the magnificent displays of daffodils and narcissi each spring. After many years' happiness at Rydal, there came grief and sadness. Many of the family's close relations and friends died, including his brother John and his devoted daughter Dora. On April 23, 1850, a few days after his 80th birthday, William Wordsworth passed away. It caused great grief to his sister Dorothy, grief from which she never recovered. On January 31, 1855, she was finally released from the heavy world in which she had lived. Mary Wordsworth died in 1859, of old age, not illness, and she's buried here at St Oswald's, beside her husband William, sister-in-law Dorothy, and 3 of her children. Long ago, on a spring day in 1804, William and Dorothy sat by the lake. He thought, wrote Dorothy, that it would be as sweet thus to lie so in the grave, to hear the peaceful sounds of the earth, and just to know our dear friends were near.